Thank you and good morning, everybody. I'd like to bring your attention to a topic that you may recognize has grown tremendously in importance in the last 2 months, namely all the risks, all the risk factors that companies are exposed besides the business as usual risk analytics. And we summarize this as ESG analytics. ESG stems from the financial sector, stands for environmental, social, and governmental. And whenever you are dealing with something like a global pandemic as we do today, in the core, this is a natural disaster, you know, and so this is definitely something companies will have to care about ever more in the future. There is more to ESG, of course. Only 2 months ago, we were looking into ESG mostly from the matter of climate change and from air pollution and from water pollution and other relevant things. And so you might think that companies are exposed to many risks that they do not really have under control. To name a few, it's about CO2 pricing. It's about resilience of supply chains, which we see is not very pandemic resilient these days, right? It's about any sorts of logistics resilience or technology resilience. And companies are today not aware of many of those risks, and at least they cannot manage and don't have much transparency on those risks overall. So we are intending to solve this. We get great support by many leading business people in the world. Now, you may know Larry Fink. He's CEO of a global asset manager, BlackRock, and he was really urging in January 2020 that CEOs should disclose much more their long-term climate-related financial risks on the business case of the companies. Now, if Larry Fink would write the letter today, he would also maybe amend that companies should do much more effort in disclosing short-term shocks like global pandemic and the resulting shocks on the economy. Now, this is really strongly demanded by investors. This is also strongly demanded by banks. So also we're looking at the liquidity and lending sector, how companies are generally can reach new financing. And if you're working in companies and if you ask your local bank which measures they will apply in 1-2 years from now, they will tell you that ESG criteria will play a much larger role than they do today in terms of corporate financing, be it investing or be it lending, both ways. So if you're more interested than that, please be referred to the Sustainable Finance Action Plan from the European Union, or if you're located in Germany, look at the local regulators white paper on sustainability risks and how banks should deal with those. Now, how do you do that as a company? Well, first of all, assessing sustainability risks is not a core business, so it's likely something that you would leave to experts, and this is what we are doing already today. We can go to companies and take data from basically the E side of ESG, right, or the environmental carbon-related side, analyze those, and give certain analysis reports and all what comes with reporting back to companies. So this is an ongoing business, and this is very interesting for a company itself, but it can be much more extended. Yeah, as you might also infer by the white spot on the slide, there's much room for improvement, and one obvious improvement also in light of Corona is to take the supply chain of companies into that game. So how do you take a supply chain into that game? So you can go to a company and ask them, please give us information on the supply chain. This is one valid way to do, but this is a maybe not so scalable way to do. It would be a much more scalable way if we could have a central authority or a central way of exchange where which supports the trust which is needed for companies globally in supply chains to share data about their various ESG factors. And this is what we found in IDSA being an ideal promoter of such a trust-based platform. If we now go to integrating supply chain in the ESG analytics thinking process, then the IDSA connector could very much be an ideal way to attach companies to a network of information that, similarly as we heard before in the wind energy data case, here it's an ESG data case where companies can contribute. I have also a second logo on that slide because one of our colleagues from TNO in the Netherlands is promoting a smart connected supplier network where we have a tremendously well exchange, and which can also be a well suited initiative to drive ESG integration forward. And similarly, all over the world, there are appearing those initiatives that are looking into supply chains and all having the chance to serve also as integrators and providers of ESG data that then finally with the IDSA connector can find their way to proper analytics as we provide them. So what's the value finally in them? I mean, first of all, the value is all about transparency, about risks. As I stated in the beginning, companies are not able to correctly price the risks that they have on the various timescales of ESG effects today. And then, of course, also external stakeholders are very much interested in this risk analytics. And here you see the most of all the financial services suppliers to the real economy that are interested in getting this transparency, and in turn, of course, companies benefit on the long run from either lower financing costs or overall the possibility to get additional financing if they are providing ESG data properly and ready-made for banking analytics. I show you one example how this can look at the surface. This is one cover page, so to say, of a larger analysis we did for a Swiss company. You can see on the right hand side, we analyzed the likelihood that a company will be able to reduce emissions per annum with about 4%. So this is one question that a financer of this company asked and demanded of this company. Yeah, they should really prove that they are able to comply with this emission reduction goal. And so the question was really, how much is the likelihood that companies can achieve this? And now you can analyze all sorts of things. I show you only one overview, which has been produced by our scalable ESG analytics. And here you can, for instance, see one. First of all, that we rated this company as a likely target to really achieve the emission reduction goal. And the second thing is one abatement option of CO2 for this company would really to go for renewable electricity. You can see some abatement curves on below. Without going into the details, you can see the level of granularity that we can achieve with such analysis. And with the IDSA connector that we are aiming in this launching coalitions, we will be able to generate much more granular data about such companies and then serve valuable cases for the companies and for their financial suppliers. Thank you very much.